How's it going, guys? Today's tutorial we are going to make a simple modern homepage using Bootstrap 5. So this homepage will look like this, as seen over here. We will have a navbar which contains a brand title of a fake company called Ocean and two items, about and contact. We also including the main section of the homepage. So we include a draw illustration and some buttons and some paragraphs here, and also we are including at the end of this homepage the footer, which contains the social icons and copyright paragraph. So to build this page, we need two files as always. We need index.html, style.css. This will help us to write the markup and to customize the Bootstrap classes. Additionally, we need a folder to include our illustration, so which will be downloaded from unDraw.co. So that's for the dependencies. So index.html, it includes some dependencies that we set as default, as well for the style.css. So now to get started, we want to divide the web page that we are going to build into three parts. So the first part is going to be the markup, and the second part is the Bootstrap classes, and the last part is the CSS customization, because we need to update, or let's say to customize those Bootstrap classes on our own styles, right? And this is so important. So anyway, to get started, let's jump into the markup now, right? So here the first thing we want to look at is the navbar. So it's gonna be the first thing we will get started with. So the navbar here will be we include the Ocean as a brand title, and we also have two items. So to design this, or to write the markup of the navbar, first thing we need to include is in the body tag is the div, which will include the header and the main section and footer. So let's write our div now. So this div will take later a class. So when we move to the Bootstrap design now, but let's focus now just on the markup, okay? And so let's get started with the navbar. So let's here make navbar. So here we can include bar inside a header, just to keep it more flexible. So we can add as well a nav. So this nav will contain the brand title. So here we can include ref of this. So we can call it Ocean, semicolon, just a fake name, right, of a company called Ocean. And then we can include an ordered list, which will contain our list items. We need two list items. So the first one will be about, and the second one is contact item. So we just copy paste the first list item, but you need just to change the name contact, about to contact. Right, so now that's for the header. So let's get back into the next part. Here is the main section, right? So if you go back to the main section, we have a title. There's going to be a heading, and also we have a short paragraph which gave a little description or a little introduction about the company, and two buttons, one to get into the system, and one button just to learn more about this company, right? So to create this, let's get back to VS Code, and here we can include a new element this one we'll call mean, like we did for the navbar. We include it inside a header. We can do the same for the mean section. Just include it, inside tag element called mean. And now what we need is, we need a row, we need a div as always, right? So we can create a division of this. And also for each, yes, as you know, here we have two parts, right? We have this part which contain, the heading, paragraph, and buttons, and this part which contain just the illustration, right? So we need to illustrate this as well in our markup. So we can have two divs as well. So one div to store the paragraph and the buttons, and one div for the illustration. Okay, so here we have a paragraph, so we can include just h2 here, for example, heading class 2, and so this is called dive deeper. So let's say dive deeper, and here we will add a paragraph. So just let's copy this lorem ipsum text here. So as you can see here, I need just to make it over here, this tab. Great, so now it looks good. So one thing left is the buttons. So we can include the buttons here. So here as you know, we have two buttons. So here type, and we can include this button that manner. So the first one is hit me, so we can make it uppercase, and the second one is button called learn more, I think. Yes, is learn more. So let's make sure. Yes, learn more. So let's keep it here. Sorry, here now. Learn more. Great. So now we are designing the mean section. So we can do the same here for the the second part of the mean is the illustration. So we can get the illustration from a website called unDraw.com. So you can get many illustrations here for free, and you can also change their colors. So here I download illustration from this website, and yes, I included already in the image folder. So it's called SVG. So that's what I'm going to include inside this div. So let's say here image. So let me try just to out of this, and here we can add source attributes and a link to this image add.its file. Great. So let me add yes an alt attribute just to define the name of this. Great. So that's for the mean section, right? So let me just remove some space over here. Great. So now the next section is the footer, right? So here I want to just add some description to this. So this is going to be the mean, right? And here we have footer. Right. So we'll do the same for we'll do the same for the footer page. So the footer section here. So we can include as well the two illustrations. So as you know, here we have three social icons, and the second part of this div is just a paragraph. Yes, just to show the copyright, some stuff about it. I mean, it's a fake company. Anyway, so here we need as well a div to store these two parts. So the first part, it's going to take as well a div as well, the same for the copyright section. So over here I can just add anchors, links to it, and these links will be be transformed to Bootstrap icons in the Bootstrap section in this video. So let me try just here say link, and copy paste this twice. Great, so now we're back to the second part. So this will take just the copyright, so let's do this copyright now. Copy, and here we have all rights reserved 2021, right? So now we finished our markup. So that's for the markup, right? So let's take a look at the output in the browser, and as you can see here, it looks really terrible. Without Bootstrap, without CSS, HTML is terrible. Anyway, so as you can see here, we have the navbar, we have the main section, and also the footer. Great. So let's add now the magic to our web page, and we'll see what will happen. So here the first thing is to include the Bootstrap CSS link as well as CSS style sheet. It's already included here. But anyway, so let me go to Bootstrap documentation version 5. So by the way, version 5 became, stable 2 months ago as Bootstrap community announced this. So anyway, here to get started, to copy paste the link, you can move, to this link here of this documentation. I can leave it in the description below, as well as the link of unDraw. You can find all these links in the description box. So anyway, it's going to be, the link that we need to copy it. So let's copy paste that inside the head. So this needs to be included before the CSS style sheet of our index. So let's include this now, and yes, so here's the file. So here I can just define it bootstrap CSS, and like that, link here, anyway. And the same we'll do for the bundle. So one of the new things that Bootstrap new version 5 come up with this season is, this bundle. It includes every Bootstrap JavaScript plugin as mentioned here in this documentation. So we can copy paste this as well, in the script tag before as the latest things here in the body. So we can do it here as well. So let's do this. Great. So now we can add the magic, right? So the first thing that we need to start with is the header, as always. So, but before we add classes, we need to change the look of our, or let's say the background color of our homepage. So here the background color will be, a custom color. So we will not use any Bootstrap color here. So we'll try to choose that on our own here. So let me go to style.css and let's add body. Sorry, here let's enable this. So body background color. So here I choose this color, just 3B3E7. Right, so this color is is randomly chosen, right? But anyway, I love this color. Great, so it looks the same. So let me back to see, make sure. Great, so now we change that. So let me back again to the same page, to the output. So here we have Ocean as a brand title, and also we have the two items are pushing to the right. So that's really what we need to do here. We want to make this navbar now, and we want just to make it as well light. So each item here in this navbar should be white, means light. So we will do this using Bootstrap. So let me go to index.html file, and so over here you can see navbar in general. So but before we get started, let's add a class container. I think everyone loves this class, right? So here, that's my favorite class in Bootstrap. Good. So here we have a nav. So let's add some classes here to the navbar. So the first thing is navbar, right? So just to define our navbar, and here if we want to make that responsive, we can add, you know, medium screens, you can add small screens, but now I don't care about responsive design, just keep it large screens. And let's keep everything inside this header in light mode. So here we have to add this class called navbar dark, and then let's take a look at the output. So you can see here nothing has been changed, but it's okay. So let me go again to the anchor element here. So let's add a class. So let's keep it, you know, as I said, brand title. So this is going to be navbar brand, and let's keep that, you know, bolder a little bit. So it's going to say bolder, and also we want to push out, you know, the items next to the brand title to the right, as I mentioned before. So let's do this by auto. Great. So now let's jump into, you know, the node list. Let's add some classes to it, and this will be, you know, navbar nav, as we've seen in Bootstrap bar, as well as the list items. So we'll add a class of nav item, and here for the anchor elements as well, it's going to be nav link, and same here for the second item, you can have a nav link. So great. So now let's take a look at this in the browser. Wow. So you see now our header in the home page is designed successfully now. So let's go back again to the home page that we are trying to design. So here we have the main section. So the main section as well, we will keep the content light. So, and also the illustration needs to be in, you know, in the right side, and we will add as well some margins, some stuff into it. So let's get into it. So now we can back to mean, and here we can add this. But before we get started, so as you can notice here, we have, you know, two sections over here, so we can use Bootstrap grid. So the same for footer as well. So we can use Bootstrap grid, so we can divide, you know, the look into two sections: section to store the illustration and section to store the content, let's say the description about the, you know, the company. So let's do that. So now we have to add a class. So in order to use a grid, we should add a class called row, and this guy as well, we can, you know, add grid system. So this class allows us to add, you know, the size of columns that we want to use. So here we can, you know, take the size of 7 grid, right? And here we can take, you know, we can make it, you know, 5, just 5. But always we need to respect the 12, you know, grid system as always. So anyway, so that's 4, 7, and 5, and then let me go to the headings. So what I want to do here, I want to make it light, so by adding text light, and also let's keep the font weight bolder, and let's add as well some padding. So this padding will be added to the bottom. So here's going to be 3, for example. Okay, let's keep 2. Let's just 3 is better. And the same we'll do for class, for paragraph. So we make it light, and also we need to add a class justify, just to keep things aligned very well on the right to the left, right? And also we need to add a bottom or padding bottom to the paragraph. let's keep it as well tree, because we need to respect, the same padding between the paragraph and heading, and between the paragraph and the bonus as well, right? So let's move now to the bonus, right? So what we need to do here, let's get rid of this, or maybe let's keep it there, but anyway, let's get rid of that, and let's keep here button, button, button. Let's choose now just light, temporarily, because we will customize this later. Let's do the same here for the, here's this time we'll make it outline, so this can take outline light. So when it comes to the dev, or to, we can't keep it like this, because we will try to reduce the size of the image later. But let's just, copy paste that. So let's go to the output. Oh wow, that's good. So anyway, we are doing the same here for the deeper, you can see as well. So anyway, I will try to reduce the width of this illustration, as well as the bonus. I will add some, some padding to it later in CSS file. So let's get back now to filter. So filter, I think we'll add just a grid. Will be based on grid in order to, to push, the copyright, maybe just to make them, but I think it's better to push, social icons as well to the left side, and the copyright paragraph to the right side. So to do this, I will back to VS Code here, and I would be based as well on the grid system of Bootstrap. So let's add here a class. Oh yes, a class here, a row, and here I can give, a size of, let's say 6. I think 6 grid, it's better. And the same for years 6. So you can just, remove this, and Bootstrap is going to figure out this automatically. But that's really what I need at this moment. I need just to use this. But before I get into this, I want you now to remove, links, and I will include Bootstrap icons, right? And Bootstrap icons, you can get it from the same documentation. So let me back to Bootstrap here, and the icons. So over here you can you can search for any icon you want. So as you can see here, we need, icons for GitHub, YouTube, and Twitter, right? So let's get into this now. So we need 3 icons. So before I get into this, we have to include, the Bootstrap icons link as well. So here, I think we should include it over here in the browser. So let's go to Bootstrap. Great. So now we can have Bootstrap icons. The link of Bootstrap icon, yes, we can get it from the documentation. Let's see if it's already here. I don't think if they provide this, so I don't know. Okay, so this is going to be just the Bootstrap icons. I don't know where's the link, but anyway, so here we have the icons, and it's not provided, but anyway, we can go to Bootstrap icons link. add install. I don't know why I didn't notice that. Anyway, so let's copy this and let me go to VS Code. Sorry for the delay, guys. Trying just to figure out this. Anyway, so that's for icons. So let me go now to the same website, and I can include as well any icon I want from this library. So let's search for GitHub. So here is GitHub here. So I can copy this and place it out inside this link. So this for GitHub, and I think will be the same for others, so just paste it out here, just don't waste time. And this for same here, so I can add here for YouTube, and here for Twitter, Twitter. Right, so now I think it's good, so everything is alright. So let's go to the browser. Now you can see it's included successfully. Great. So we need just to customize the looks a little bit using CSS. That was going to be later in the next part. So now we are finishing, the Bootstrap section. So one thing left now is CSS. So we want to add some customization to our homepage, our Bootstrap classes. So let's get into this now. So the first thing we need to customize here is the row, right? So as you know, we are based on grid here to design our rows. So we want just to add some margin to this. So if we go back to this file, you can see here some margin, as well as the space between the paragraph and the mean and the footer. So we need to have the same size, or the same amount of space between the mean and header and the mean and footer as well. So to do this, let's design this by saying row. So I'm taking the class, the Bootstrap class, and let's add margin top to each of these rows, and let's keep it 150, or let's say 160 pixels. Right, so let's take a look at this. Right, now it's good. So that's for the next part. So the next section now, what we need to design later is the image, so the illustration. So as you can see here, I want to reduce it to 70%, 80%, 75, something like that. And also I have to, place it to the right side. So this will be possible if we use, CSS flows property. So let's go into this. So we have here the mean section. We can also include the col 5. I think it's col 5. Let's get into this. Yes, it's col 5. And here's image class. So here we can add the width. So you can do this just by Bootstrap, but I prefer to do it with CSS. So 80% for width, and let's place it to the right by adding float right. So now if I go back here, wow, that's amazing. So great. So now let's get into the buttons. So we need to add some, let's say, some padding. Oh, I don't know why I didn't do this here. I think this looks good. I think let me go. Yes. So that's for, yes, that's the home page, sorry, and this is for dive deeper. Great, because I've confused this a little bit. So anyway, here we have the headings. So the next thing, as I said, we want to add some margin to the buttons, and here the margin will be added just by Bootstrap. So let's move back to this button hit me, and here I can add margin left. Let's add 3. I think it's better. Yes, let's keep it 3, and now it looks good. So right, so now let's get back to the footer, because yes, footer now, I think. Yes. But before designing footer, I forget to customize the look of these buttons, right? So we have to do this first, right? So let me go as well to the main content, and this time would be, I think, cool colon 7, and this will have, button. I think it's button light. Yes, because we need just to customize this button. So what we need to do, we want to have, the same text color needs to be the same as the background color of the home page. So let's do this, and here we can add the same color. It's already played here, and let's make it font weight bolder for the look. And for the second button, I think it's better to keep it as is. So now yes, it looks more, let's say, it's much more better than it used to be. Anyway, great. So now I think we finished the home or the main section. So let's go back to footer. And footer now we want just to, yes, just to increase the size of the social icons and push this to the right. So to do this, let's go to CSS file and let's add footer. Add here elements. So I add this paragraph here, and the paragraph needs to be, float right, and change the color to white. Great. So here we can do the same for social networks icons, footer, cool sex, and these icons, the color to white, and the padding as well we need to add for each of these icons. So let's keep it 15, I think, maybe 10 pixels. It's gonna be better. And the font size, so you can use here, the REM, units. So let's keep it 1, 3, something like that. And now, if I go back to the design, I think I didn't save this. What's happened? Oh yes, I forget to include here footer. So sorry guys. So let's say here footer. And yes, I know. Sometimes I spell things wrong, and that's okay. Right, so now, wow. So that's all, right? So finally we designed this homepage. So it takes about 30 minutes, but it's okay. So we have accomplished this goal today, and we finished designing, a homepage, a modern homepage, using the new version of Bootstrap 5, which became stable 2 months ago. So, right, so this is gonna be a part of the Bootstrap playlist, which is going to include more tutorials in the future. So just stay tuned, and bye for now.